When writing a history paper, you always need to start off your paragraphs with what is called a topic sentence. So what a topic sentence is going to do is this identifies the main idea of the paragraph. And the key of this video is really expressing the main idea. A topic sentence also states the point the writer is going to make about the subject. Essentially, think of this as a mini thesis statement for your paragraph that you are writing. It should give you a roadmap to what the paragraph is going to discuss and the main idea of that paragraph. That should not be hidden from the reader. So the topic sentence is going to be the very, very first sentence of the paragraph, and it's going to be at the beginning of that paragraph. So what's really important to remember here is a paragraph's topic sentence has to be general enough to express the paragraph's overall subject. So it has to be able to kind of encompass everything that's going to be discussed in that paragraph, while also being specific enough that the reader can understand the paragraph's main subject and point. Okay, so kind of confusing. We're going to work on this here a little bit. Hopefully my explanation will help your understanding here. So I'm going to first give you some examples of what is not a topic sentence, what may be too specific. So at least in this paper, you should be fairly general with your topic sentences. It should not be specific details about the different parties. So if you're discussing the Federalist Party, it should not be a specific detail of that party. That should come later in the paragraph when you're explaining the Federalist Party. Okay, so here are a couple examples of what would not be a topic sentence. If you're writing a paragraph about the Federalists, this would be an example of this would not be a topic sentence here. Federalists wanted to establish national banks because it would keep taxes safe. The reason this would not be a topic sentence is because it's way too specific. Unless you're going to be writing an entire paragraph over the national bank system and the Federalist belief over that, this would not be appropriate. Another non-example would be Republicans believe that anyone could lead the country. The reason this is not an example of a topic sentence is because it's not general enough. It is too specific. Once again, unless you're going to be discussing the reasoning Republicans believe that for an entire paragraph, this would not be appropriate. And then lastly here, this would be an example of a non-topic sentence. Federalists argued that the United States needed to side with Great Britain because it would help with trade. This was too specific. This is a supporting detail. Supporting details should not be topic sentences. Now remember, what we first talked about in the first slide of this presentation, a paragraph's topic sentence must be general enough to express the paragraph's overall subject. Okay, it should be a roadmap for that paragraph, but it also should be specific enough so the reader can understand the writer's main point and their main idea that they're trying to get across. So we're going to go over a couple examples here. These examples I wrote these over different parties, so I didn't give you guys answers because I want you to come up with your own. Okay, but these would be examples of quality topic sentences. So if I were writing a paragraph over the beliefs of the Democratic Party, this would be an example of a good topic sentence. Democrats had specific stances on several political topics, but all stances reflect upon the idea of a larger central government. So if I were writing a paragraph over the beliefs of the Democratic Party, I'm not getting into specific details here, but I'm telling the reader here that I'm going to talk about several political topics and the stances of Democrats, all in connection with their idea that they believe in a larger central government. Okay, so I'm telling them kind of the main overarching idea of this party without getting into specific details. I'm giving my reader a roadmap to what I am going to talk about in my paragraph about the Democratic Party. Here is another example. If I were writing a paragraph over the Green Party, this would be an example of an appropriate topic sentence. The Green Party reflected their idea of a smaller central government when expressing ideas on human nature, the government, the economy, and conflict in the Middle East. Once again, I am setting up my reader with a roadmap what I'm going to talk about. Overall, in my paragraph, I will talk about their idea of a smaller central government, but I will also talk about their beliefs of human nature, the government, the economy, and the conflict. Specific enough that the reader can understand what I'm going to be talking about without giving specific details. As you can see, I didn't give their stances on the government. I did not give their stances on the economy in my topic sentence. I was just laying out what I was going to be discussing in the paragraph that I was going to write. Now, another important aspect of topic sentences is using transitions. So usually after the first full paragraph, so this would be after your Federalist paragraph, transitions are needed to kind of help with the flow and the transition of ideas, because we're going to be talking about several different things here. Okay, so here are just some examples of transitions. They would be the first word or the first phrase in a new paragraph. So going off the topic sentences I used in the last slide, this would be an example of the use of transition. In contrast, Democrats had specific stances on several political topics, but all stances reflect upon the idea of a larger central government. As you can see, in contrast would be a transition. Comparatively, the Green Party reflected their idea of a smaller central government. So comparatively, in this topic sentence would be the transition. So it's helping with the flow and the transition of ideas in my paragraph. This next slide is going to give you some examples of transition words. So if you're writing after the Federalist paragraph in your paper, this would be a good slide to refer back to. You can pause it, and this can definitely help with using transitions in your paper.